The story I'm going to tell you today is called The Snow Queen with the Cold, Cold Heart. There are several characters in the story that when I mention them, you can add sound effects. Of course, there's the Snow Queen with the cold, cold heart. Whenever I mention her, you're going to go. She has 3 daughters. The first daughter always has a cold in her nose, so we're going to go. The second daughter always has a cold in her chest, so we're going to go. And the third daughter is beautiful but sad. Oh! Of course, there's a young and handsome prince. When I mention him, you can go, aha! And he has a horse, so we can do some galloping sounds. And then there's a wily and wicked wizard. And when I mention him, you can go, nya, nya, nya. Once upon a time, there was a snow queen with a cold, cold heart. She lived far to the north of here, where the wind was always blowing, the snow was always falling, the sun never came out, and it was always cold and miserable. She had 3 daughters. One daughter always had a cold in her nose. The second daughter always had a cold in her chest. And the third daughter was beautiful but sad. Oh! The 3 daughters loved to play outside. They would build snow forts, they'd make snow angels, have snowball fights, or sometimes just water their icicle garden. That's exactly what they were doing when who rode up but a young and handsome prince? Aha! He instantly fell in love. Not with the daughter with a cold in her nose, not with the daughter with a cold in her chest, but the daughter that was beautiful but sad. Oh! He ran into the castle of the Snow Queen with the cold, cold heart. Snow Queen with the cold, cold heart, I wish to marry your daughter. Not the one with the cold in her nose, not the one with the cold in her chest, but the one that's beautiful but sad. Oh! Very well, said the Snow Queen with the cold, cold heart. You may marry her if she'll have you on one condition. In yonder enchanted forest there lives a wily and wicked wizard. He's the one that's cast a spell on this land so that it's always cold and miserable. And why one of my daughters always has a cold in her nose. And one daughter always has a cold in her chest. And one daughter is always moping around the castle. Take this magic potion, dash it into his face, the spell will be broken. Then and only then may you marry my daughter. I'll do it, said the young and handsome prince. Ah! He jumped on his milk-white steed and off he galloped. He went up mountains and down valleys, and up higher mountains and down deeper valleys. He rode through terrible wind and rain and hail. And finally he came to the enchanted forest. The wily and wicked wizard heard him coming. Nya, nya, nya. And he ran back to his forest dwelling and got his magic bag of dirty, nasty tricks. And he pulled out of there a thunderbolt, which he threw at the young and handsome prince. Aha! Knocking him right off his horse. But the young and handsome prince, aha, was soon back on his feet. He whipped out the magic potion. He threw it into the face of the wily and wicked wizard. Nya, nya, nya. And he watched to his horror as he slowly turned into a marshmallow. A marshmallow! It was not pretty, but there was nothing to be done. He picked up the marshmallow, he put it in his pocket, and he rode back to the castle of the Snow Queen with the cold, cold heart. Snow Queen with the cold, cold heart. The young and handsome prince, aha, said, I wish to marry your daughter. Here is your marshmallow. He tossed it into her lap. Remember, not the one with the cold in her nose, not the one with the cold in her chest, the one that's beautiful but sad. Oh, very well. You may marry her. As you can see, the spell has been broken. The sun is shining, the snow is melting. And she still wants to go with you. Now, on your way out, can you please tell my other daughters that I'm making hot cocoa? And tell them if they're really good, I'll even put a marshmallow in it. The young and handsome prince, and the daughter that was beautiful but no longer sad, rode off into the sunset. And they lived happily ever after, of course. The end.